Welcome to John Martin Talks, where we battle ignorance and apathy daily. The growing ignorance of just how special this experiment we call the United States of America is, and the apathy that we can't or won't do anything and everything to save her. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we got a great show for you today. We're going to start out by talking about a new poll that has come out that does not look good for Joe Biden. I mean, that shouldn't be a surprise. I can't imagine that any poll would actually look good for Joe Biden, but this one specifically addresses his mental and physical health and his fitness to actually be president. And the numbers compared to what they were just before the election are dramatically, and as you might imagine, down. But we're going to break that down in just a minute. And then I tell you, the left just gets crazier and crazier. This is a Democratic Congresswoman from the great state of Tennessee, I do believe. I think she's actually a state legislature, and we'll get into the details in a minute. But she's come out now and said that let's go Brandon. And if you don't know what that means, we'll explain that to you. But let's go Brandon, and the chanting of let's go Brandon is the equivalent to flag burning and should be treated as such. So we'll break that down as well. But before we go any further, I always have to tell you about some deals that are out there, some opportunities for you. Look above the video no matter when or where you're watching it. Click on the link to BDU, Big Daddy Unlimited. They have all things Second Amendment, from guns and ammunition delivered directly to your door at factory direct pricing, as well as over 100,000 related items. And if you want to see just how good a deal you can get on this, check out Denny's deals. Denny comes on across John Martin Talks Facebook network. He also comes across our excluded Facebook page. You get there by spelling excluded, drop the E, spell it with the big X, excluded, and check out Denny's deals. He comes on an hour before we do live, 10 o'clock Eastern time, picks a few products from the Big Daddy Unlimited arsenal. Today, I think he was actually talking about body armor and that type of stuff. But he talks about the products, demonstrates some of them, and doesn't point them at you, that kind of thing like we've seen lately here. We talked about that the other day. But he gives you the factory direct pricing, and once you see just how much you would save if you were a member of Big Daddy Unlimited, go back to the top of our video, no matter when or where you're watching it. Click on that link, and those savings, follow the directions, and they will be yours. And nothing says I love you at Christmas time more than maybe a little 38 snub nose in the stocking or some ammunition. All of that can be found factory direct pricing, Big Daddy Unlimited. All right, let's get into the meat and potatoes of this show. We're going to start with a Politico article, and it has to do with a morning consult poll that is done by Politico, and it's all about Joe Biden. Let's get the title here. Poll, voters' doubts rising about Biden's health and mental fitness. Now, if you've been watching our show any length of time, you know that I've never been convinced that Biden was mentally and physically ready to be president, let alone actually the right choice. But, you know, I guess he got the most ballots. What can we say? There's, God help us, he's in 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. Voters have increasing doubts about the health and mental fitness of President Joe Biden, the oldest man ever sworn into the White House, according to a new Politico morning consult. Let me say that right. I don't say that word very often. Consult poll. But my question right out of the gate is, what took you so long? What took you so long to realize that Joe Biden was mentally and physically unfit to be president? Forget about the issues for just a moment. Forget about, you know, he's not Donald Trump, which is probably the only reason why he's even in there. But what took you so long to see that Joe Biden just wasn't cutting the mustard, so to speak? I want to play you, and we could play a series of bloopers that could last for a week, but this is just a smattering of them, and most of these were before Joe Biden actually got elected, so you could have known that he was sliding all along. Check it out. Wait, you're getting nervous, man.
And Corn Pop was a bad dude, and he ran a bunch of bad boys. I'm not sedentary. I get up and no, let him go. Let him go. Look, the reason I'm running is because I've been around a long time and I know more than most people know. And I can get things done. That's why I'm running. And you want to check my shape on, let's do push-ups together here, man. Let's run. Let's do whatever you want to do. Let's take the 19 steps.
You ever been to a caucus? No, you haven't. You're a lying dog-faced pony soldier. You said you were.
Make sure the television, make sure you have the record player on at night, the phone.
And so he was up on the board, wouldn't listen to me. I said, hey, Esther, you, off the board, or I'll come up and drag you off. We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women created by you know the thing.
Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids.
I'm beginning to see why your wife left you.
And he cut off a 6-foot length of chain. He folded up. He said, you walk out with that chain. And you walk to the car and say, you may cut me, man, but I'm going to wrap this chain around your head. If you agree with me, go to Joe 30330 and help me in this fight. Thank you very much.
I mean, ladies and gentlemen, he was talking to Democratic voters on most of those, calling you a dog-faced pony boy, you lying, no wonder your wife left you. You know the deal. He doesn't even know what the Declaration of Independence. There's, I could play countless ones where he can't remember which one is his wife and which one is his sister when he doesn't know what day of the week, let alone all the times he's going, what am I doing here? I mean, it's just unbelievable. The only reason that you don't know that Joe Biden is mentally and physically unfit to even run for president, let alone be president, is you either had your head up something, or you never paid attention, or you just hated Donald Trump so much that you were willing to put anybody in there. Because, the people, and I don't want to say I feel sorry for, because I don't really feel sorry for them, but think about the people that ran against Biden in the Democratic primary, because a lot of that, you go to Joe 303 and turn on the record player and all that kind of stuff. What do you think they had to be thinking and maybe saying behind the scenes, behind the curtain at the stage? How in the world, do you think any of those people thought that Joe Biden was going to be the nominee, say early in 2019 when the campaigns first started? Do you think any of those people, do you really believe that Elizabeth Warren or Bernie Sanders, let alone any of the rest of them, actually thought that Joe Biden was going to come out of that group of people? There's no way. And the voters didn't think so either, because he was literally in like 5th place going into South Carolina, where he was thrown a lifeline. I don't know what the heck you guys were thinking in South Carolina, but my God, look what let me just say this. I hadn't said this in a while, but if I say it, it bears repeating. If it was inevitable, and I'm not saying it was, but if it was inevitable that Donald Trump wasn't going to get the most ballots, even though he got 75 million votes, the most in the history of any incumbent president, I'm not talking about voter maud or any of that. We don't say the F word here. All due deference to Mr. Algorithm. But if it was inevitable that a Democrat was going to win that race, why did you have to give us Joe Dadgum Biden, man? That guy has never, he talked about in that one part of the video, I'm running because I've been around a long time and I can get things done. Name me anything the dude ever got done, really. I mean, it's just unbelievable. He's been up there the longest just about of anybody, but Joe Biden, and we're going to talk more about it as this goes on, because I really believe now, I'm beginning to believe that Joe Biden was the perfect choice for the progressives, the communists that are taking over our country, because he's a tabula rasa, a clear slate. And Joe Biden, in my opinion, but an opinionated fact, but it's a fact nonetheless, accomplished his entire agenda already. Because all he ever wanted to be was president. Everything else is a gift for him. And I really personally believe that this is the 3rd term of Obama, but let's move along. Back to this poll. Only 40% of voters surveyed agreed with the statement that Biden is in good health, while 50% disagreed. How could anyone watching anything that Biden does actually think that dude is in good health, man? Would you trade your health for him? And not unless you're on your deathbed. That 10 percentage point gap outside the poll's margin of error, which is like 2%, represents a massive, listen to this, a massive 29-point shift since October of 2020, a month before the election, when Morning Consult last surveyed the question and found voters believed Biden was in good health by a 19-point margin. So he's dropped all of that since then. But my question is, why did people think that Biden was mentally and physically healthy when back in October of last year? You know why? Because we were lied to, plain and simple. That's the only explanation. We were absolutely lied to. And I want to show you some evidence right here. The people that knew what was happening behind the scenes absolutely knew that Biden was a disaster. If you don't believe me, I'm going to show you this video. We've played it before, but it certainly deserves replaying. This is Terry McAuliffe, the guy in Virginia. Now keep in mind that Terry McAuliffe was not only an insider in the Clinton White House, basically a henchman. He not only became governor of Virginia, thank God he didn't make it this last time, but he was former chair of the National Democratic Party. I say all that to say this dude is the most insider you can possibly be, and he was on a Zoom call during 2019 leading up to the 2020 election. And this is what he said in this Zoom call about then candidate Joe Biden, who by this time, I guess this was actually in 2020, by this time had gotten the nomination. Listen to the ultimate insider, Terry McAuliffe, what he says about Joe Biden. Check it out.
People say all the time, oh, we got to get the vice president out of the basement. He's fine in the basement. 2 people see him a day, his 2 body people. That's it.
He's fine in the basement. So they knew that people seeing more of Joe Biden wasn't a good thing for Biden, wasn't a good thing for the Democrats in general. So they literally admit to hiding the dude. And the media was absolutely complicit in all of this from top to bottom. We talked a little about the media complicity yesterday. By the way, the best way to see our podcast, or one of the ways, you can go on Rumble, for instance. We're live every day on Rumble and archive there. Good morning, Rumblers, and we're live on YouTube while we're out of jail there. Check it out, YouTube, John Martin Talks, Rumble, the same thing. But check out the Excluded app. Go to your app store, spell Excluded by dropping the E, put a big X in front of it. Get that app, and you can see our show archived on there as well as a lot of original program and other personalities. Excluded app. Check it out. But ask whether Biden is mentally fit. Voters are almost evenly split. Wow. That rhymes, but it's crazy, right? With 46% saying he is and 48% disagreeing. What this 46% is saying he is mentally fit. Who are they watching? I mean, hate Trump all you want, but Biden is not mentally fit. I don't know how anybody could believe that he is mentally fit. But the negative 2-point margin stands in stark contrast, listen to this, to Biden's numbers last October. So the more we see Biden, the more people are beginning to truly wake up. When voters believed he was mentally fit by 21-point margin, Biden's condition was covered up by the media, and it still is. It absolutely still is. I'm going to play you a video. This is from a couple of months ago now. And this is Joe Biden at a town hall meeting on CNN that it came out that Biden had never, ever in his entire life, his entire career, been to the border. And even Jen Psaki, his press secretary, admitted that Joe Biden had never been to the border. Well, within a couple of weeks of that admission, Joe Biden was on CNN. I point this out because he lies on CNN, and CNN and everybody really already knew that Biden was lying, and he was not challenged a bit. Check it out.
To visit the southern border?
I've been there before, and I haven't. I mean, I know it well. I guess I should go down, but the whole point of it is I haven't had a whole hell of a lot of time to get down. I've been spending time going around looking at the $900 billion worth of damage done by hurricanes and floods and weather and traveling around the world. But I plan on, now my wife Jill has been down. She's been on both sides of the river. She's seen the circumstances there. She's looked into those places. You notice you're not seeing a lot of pictures of kids lying on top of one another with, looks like tarps on top of them.
That's good enough. First of all, how do you know it was your wife, Joe? Might have been your sister. And then that last part he throws in there about how you hadn't seen kids on top of each other. Well, a couple of things about that. First of all, they wouldn't allow access to the media, period. And second of all, the pictures that they used against Trump were actually during the Obama-Biden administration pictures, and the media lied and covered up about that. But think about it. Here he is in front of Anderson Cooper and however, 20 or 30 people watching CNN at that moment, that he literally lies right out the gate about, yeah, I've been there, when we know for a fact that he hasn't been there, and it was confirmed within a week or two of this town hall. That's why they asked him the question, but no follow-up question on any of that. And he says, well, I guess I should go down there. I mean, the media is covering up for this guy. It is unbelievable. So no wonder people are just now discovering that Biden, and shame on you for that, but how Biden is incompetent and really he's incoherent. And the media covered this up, man. We have been being played from the beginning. The poll questions, back to this article, Billy Bob tells me to get back to it. If you hadn't met my psychic sidekick here, this is Billy Bob Bass. He's got a Twitter handle. It's at Billy Bob Bass 1, and mine is at John Martin Talks. Yes, I'm a fish whisperer. Make fishing great again. And I talk to the fishes. Some of us are crazier than others. But he tells me to keep on going. But I just want to say this before I do. We need your help, ladies and gentlemen, to stay in the public square, social media. So you've got to like what we're doing, share what we're doing, tell people about it, email people about it, all those kind of things, because, one of the reasons why people don't understand or just now coming to some realization of how bad Biden is because you don't see it. You don't get to see shows like ours as much as some of these other programs. So if you're going to be a conservative and you want to watch conservative program like ours, you're going to have to be a bit more proactive. But I'll get back to it right now. The poll questions are part of a long battery of attributes about which voters were asked to rate Biden. The same battery employed multiple times asking Donald Trump's presidency and asked about both candidates last fall prior to the 2020 presidential election. Go back, for instance, if you want to talk about I haven't said this in a while, but you need to hear it. There is no double standard. Now, you might look at how Trump was treated at a town hall meeting, because CNN wouldn't even let him answer a question. They're just hammering. Biden, they literally they don't even give Biden softball questions, because a softball, if it hits you in the head, might actually hurt you. They give him stuffed bunny questions, stuffed animals, that type of question. That's how soft they are on Biden. But I say there is no double standard because of this. Tell me a standard that Joe Biden is held to. I mean, we know that Donald Trump and anybody, you're held to a standard, but what standard is Joe Biden held to? Like a mirror in front of his mouth and they can see, his breath? I mean, there is no standard. There's a standard for anybody like me. There is no standard for the left whatsoever. But, this Bernie Sanders, let me tell you, I talk about the media, but even Bernie Sanders, Bernie covered for Joe Biden. Do you remember in the last debate between Biden and Bernie, when it was just those were the last two guys standing, Bernie had a chance to take on Biden and he passed. But that doesn't surprise me. Always been a sellout, man. I hate to tell you, Bernie bros, but Bernie has always been a sellout. I don't know that he ever really wanted to be president, because he certainly didn't challenge Hillary Clinton. He backed off when he was told to, and he could have exposed Biden, and he did not. And so Bernie, to me, Bernie is a sellout. But he let Biden off the hook. On a side note, and people say maybe I don't criticize President Trump. No. Well, there's some reasons for that. One, I do have a man crush on the guy, I ain't gonna lie to you. But secondly, there's so much piling on Donald Trump that you really don't need to add to that. But I will give a little criticism right now. In that very first debate between Donald Trump which I think he won, but against Joe Biden, I really believe that President Trump made an error in judgment on that because Biden was ready to falter. And the more Biden is allowed to talk, the more incoherent he seems to be, right? And Donald Trump, yeah, I'm sure he had a reason, but I really believe, and of course, Chris Wallace, I guess it is. I think about Mike Wallace. Chris Wallace, you know, bailed Biden out from time over and over and over. But I think Donald Trump would have been better served in that first debate. I don't know if it would have changed the outcome, but I wish he would have let Biden just ramble, and he didn't. But I think that was a tactical mistake, in my opinion. The new polling comes amid persistent questions about whether Biden, who turned 79 on Saturday, happy birthday, Joe, will run for re-election in 3 years, and as Democrats have grown increasingly concerned with the party's old age here, gerontocracy, I guess is how you say it. Biden said he will run again. Of course, he said he was going to run again after he got nominated, right? And even before, so, you know, it's unbelievable. Biden, some longtime allies have raised doubts about him running, and even Saturday Night Live recently ribbed Biden over whether he was lucid. Democrats, remember how when they didn't come right out and say this, but they basically hinted, and the media kind of carried their water on this, that Biden was going to be a one-term president. He was going to restore dignity to the White House and normality and whatever the heck that means, but that they carried the issue on it. Here's the thing, the media covered for Biden at every single turn. I want to show you a quick snippet. You may recall the first part of this that we're not going to show. They play a lot. Biden and his granddaughter buying ice cream, and they went all out asking him all these questions about what flavor of ice cream. But then a reporter asked a question. It's hard to hear, but he's asking a question about the FBI and the Hunter Biden videos and the laptop and everything, or the Hunter Biden laptop, and listen to what Joe did in front of everybody. Check it out. And that's good. And remember, Biden wouldn't even answer when asked about whether he would pack the Supreme Court or not. Can you imagine Donald Trump, when he was running, or even now, laughing off of reporters' questions like that? I mean, it's unbelievable. And when you look at now that we're seeing what really happened with the whole Hunter Biden laptop, and it's all true, and that basically, not basically, just absolutely, other than the New York Post, which was censored by Twitter and all, that people did not know about Hunter Biden. They're starting to know now, which probably plays into these poll numbers. But people at the time, after the election, there was a poll, and I think about 6 or 7% of Democrats, a bigger number, said they had not heard about Hunter Biden, but a full 6 to 8% said it could have and likely would have changed their vote, which would obviously, in spite of the mail-in ballots and everything else, you know, it would have changed who was sitting at Pennsylvania Avenue. So all of this stuff is done for a reason. Back to this polling. The most intense scrutiny of Biden's age and his verbal miscues had previously been limited to conservative news outlets and social media. Like us, we've been talking about it the whole time, said Celinda Lake, a Democratic pollster who has surveyed for Biden. But listen to what Lake says here, because she admits that this was primarily played on conservative stuff like maybe Fox News, Newsmax. You know, we need to get on Newsmax, right? If you're out there listening to Newsmax, put us on your Facebook channel. But anyway, and Fox Nation. Wouldn't our show be great on Fox Nation? But it turns out, and you'll hear this from Miss Lake, that basically she's not saying that the left covered it up. She's saying that it was overplayed and overblown by the conservatives like myself, which is just simply not true. But this is what Lake said. She said, they're running a very aggressive campaign on this, talking about basically the right, conservatives. And it's bleeding over into the mainstream a little. By and large, the people who believe this, talking about Biden being unfit mentally and physically, are Trump supporters anyway, or they've been exposed to the right-wing disinformation machine. Disinformation machine. I want to play you a video, and it's funny, but it's sad at the same time. This was Joe Biden after he'd gotten the nomination, and it was in Florida, I forget it. He's coming off the airplane on the tarmac, and you know, Trump was greeted by police officers and thousands of people all the time at the airport, and he would stop and take questions quite often and talk to the people. Look, I guess Biden wants to be like Trump, but look at this video and we'll come back and talk about it. Check it out.
Our president in this race is walking off the plane, arriving in Florida just moments ago. Former Vice President Joe Biden, he's there to try to court Latino voters. Polls are showing President Trump is making gains with them, particularly with Cuban Americans.
He's waving to an empty field. I mean, the empty suit literally comes out and waves to an empty field. And the media, I don't think I saw that on the mainstream media anywhere. I believe that was Fox News talking about it. And I don't even think they actually talked about, like the lady in the background laughing that posted the video, that empty field. I mean, this guy showed time and time again that he was not mentally, physically competent to be president of the United States. Forget Donald Trump. This guy should not be in there. And I'm not talking about ballots and votes. I'm simply saying he's not capable of being president. Back to this article. To Lakes Point, this consultant just talked about, the morning concert poll generally shows that Trump voters and Republicans generally believe Biden is neither physically nor mentally fit, and Biden voters believe the opposite. However, listen to this, and this is key. However, independents by a margin of 23 points don't agree that Biden is mentally fit. Now, let me tell you what's going to happen. As Biden's poll numbers, if they stay like this, the Democrats are going to turn on Biden slowly but surely. And even the fact that Politico is doing this poll and publishing the results kind of shows this, because they're going to, they want to protect their power more than anything else. Now, I'm not saying they want to give up on the presidency, but they're going to find a way to usher Biden out, certainly not allow him to run for re-election if that time comes around, because their power is more important than Biden's no matter what. With Trump gone as a foil for now, Biden is more in the spotlight than ever. That is absolutely true. And when he's in the spotlight, you know, he has less than one public event a day. And his overall approval rating began collapsing with the bloody withdrawal of Afghanistan, the ravages of the coronavirus Delta variant. More people have died under Biden than Trump. Did you know that? They never talk about that. Congressional squabbling and public perceptions about the economy also contributed to Biden's troubles. I saw on the 5, I think it was the other day, and I want to say that I'm trying to think who it was. I can see him right now, but I'll think about it here. And Geraldo Rivera. So I want to give him credit. I'm pretty sure he's the one that said this. He was talking about the Rittenhouse trial, and he was talking about how the jurors now that everybody has cell phones and everybody sees video, that they don't listen to the testimony like they used to of witnesses. They watch the videos. And I think he's on to something there. And I say that to say this, and this explains to a certain extent the great drop in Biden's poll numbers among independents and people who are actually thinking beyond the Democrats who are just, you know, caught up in drinking the Kool-Aid from the progressives and still have Trump derangement syndrome. But people are opening their eyes. They're seeing with their own eyes, like, what is it, Kamala Harris talking about craters on the moon? You could see it with your own eyes. They're actually seeing the video. I want to give you a quick example. This is from Afghanistan. Pretty much everybody has probably seen this. If you hadn't, you need to. Check it out. I think you get the picture. Now, there's later, if you keep rolling that video, it actually shows a kid, I think it was, falling from underneath the wing on that kind of thing. And so it's hard to watch that video and not believe that Afghanistan was a total S show, a total debacle, right? So they can say all they want at the White House or just keep quiet and avoid, because, you know, the Democrats, especially those in the White House, have come up with this way of solving every single crisis. I got to give them credit. It's amazing how they're able to do it. But every crisis, you know how they solve it? They simply say, there is no crisis. You know, you can have the pictures of people just flooding over the border and all that. There is no crisis. You remember, to give you an example, I don't know if you remember this or not, but you remember when they were first showing I think it was Jamaicans that were lining up under the bridge, tens of thousands, got up to about 20,000, and Fox News was flying a drone around. Do you remember that the absent our Secretary of Transportation, Mr. Buttigieg, he actually ordered the FAA to ground all drone or any flights over that area because they didn't want people to see the video, because it's pretty hard to spin the BS that they're doing when you can see it with your own eyes. And so I think that is what is happening here. The morning consult poll, I get that word right before the show's over maybe, shows 44% give Biden a positive job approval rating and 53% disapprove. That's a staggering number, even though it's hard to believe anybody gives him a positive. Biden's approval rating is essentially unchanged over the past 2 weeks. It was 46% last week and 45% the week prior, since the passage of the infrastructure bill in Congress earlier this month, brought to you by the Republican Party. The Republicans are the reason why we gave Biden this gift of the infrastructure bill, and we talked in depth about that. Remember, go back and check out our podcast down, get the excluded app, drop the E, put the X up there, excluded app, that kind of thing. But what a gift to Republicans. And you know what a gift that's being given to us by President Donald Trump? Donald Trump is doing something that I don't think anybody's ever done. He's an ex-president, God help us, I don't like saying that, who is actually endorsing in the primaries in the upcoming elections in the 2022 midterm elections. We need that. We need Donald Trump to endorse people so that we can kind of separate the wheat from the chaff and see who is for the America First agenda or who is not. Because it's obvious with people like Liz Cheney, but there's some others out there, like the people, the 13, I think, members of Congress and 19 Republican senators, Republicans in the House, I think it was 13 and 19 that voted for this infrastructure bill. They all need to go. Every one of them needs to go, and Donald Trump is doing a tremendous public service on that. A recent Harvard-Harris poll, back to this Politico article, found that 53% of voters said they had doubts about Biden's fitness, and 47% did not. Ask if Biden is too old to be president. Listen to this. 58% said he was, and 42% said he was fit enough. And let me just tell you, it's only going to get worse. I mean, I don't wish any ill on Joe Biden. I don't want him to die, any of that kind of stuff. I truly do not. I don't wish any ill on really anybody in the world. I don't. I'm just that type of person. But I can tell you this. His condition, if I'm right about his condition, I think he has early onset dementia. I have some expertise in this because I've worked with elderly people for many, many years. My wife is a home health care nurse and has her own agency. We deal with these issues and families on a daily basis. I'm not a doctor, don't pretend to be one, but if I had to make an educated guess, I would say he has early onset dementia. And I can just tell you, it is not going to get better. It's only going to get worse. And even if you don't believe that, even if you're saying, that old guy's full of crap, let me ask you this. If Joe Biden was a member of your family, wouldn't you think, a couple of things, wouldn't you already have had a meeting about him? I mean, families do that. So what are we going to do with Uncle Joe or Grandpa Joe? But let me give you a more specific question. If you had children, and Joe Biden was their grandfather, would you let him drive them to school? Not because of any smelling hair. I'm talking about just mentally and physically. Would you get in the car and let Joe Biden drive you anywhere? if you know the answer to that, I think. Anyway, let's move along. The morning consult poll, I'm still having trouble with that word, found that voters didn't find Biden a clear communicator by 20 points. Wow. They didn't find him energetic by 26 points, and they did not find that he was a strong leader by 17 points. And to me, this next meme I'm about to put up, Billy Bob's going to put up, this sign language meme. It pretty much says America right now is not President of the United States. It's this. It's trying to interpret what Biden says. Because you can imagine they're doing like this and they're going, does he really want me to say that? Or what the heck did he, I mean, that's got to be one of the toughest jobs in the world. They probably need to hire that dude that was behind Obama at the World Cup and he was doing all this and turn to find out that he didn't even know sign language. I don't know if you remember, that was pretty funny. But let me just tell you, ladies and gentlemen, we are absolutely, I've told you this many times, that when we're being played, I'm going to tell you we're being played. And we were played before the election, we were played during the election, and we've been played since the election, and the media and other political figures have been covering for Joe Biden all along. One of the things, I'm going to play you this is a cartoon video, but it's word for word what he actually said during that corn pop video that we played a little bit earlier. This is Biden, and I told you that anybody who was for Biden or was undecided should be forced to watch this video in a continuous loop leading up to the November 2020 elections, and I still say that should have happened. It would have changed the election. Check this out.
I got hairy legs that turn turn blonde in the sun, and the kids used to come up and reach into the pool and rub my leg down. So it was trained, and then watch the hair come back up again. They look at it. So I learned about roaches. I learned about kids jumping on my lap. And I've loved kids jumping on my lap.
And just for the record, ladies and gentlemen, the word roaches, he learned about roaches. That was really Joe Biden's word. You know what he's talking about there? He's talking about black children. That is what he is talking about. Tell me where I'm wrong. Chime in on Facebook or anywhere you're watching. I'll get back to you as soon as possible. I'm telling you, he's talking about black children. And as I said, we've been played. We're still being played. You remember how Biden was sold as the great unifier? It's impossible for Joe Biden to unify anybody other than maybe in this polling that he is lost whatever marbles he once had. But Joe Biden, when he had all his marbles, if he ever did, never ever was about unifying. In fact, it was just the opposite. I want to play you this video. I just showed you he was talking about children as roaches. He has held black children in disdain most of his life, if not all of his life. This is one of his most famous speeches when he was a senator back in the early 90s with the Biden crime bill. It's about 3 minutes long, but you really need to hear it if you haven't heard it before. Check it out.
It doesn't matter whether or not the person that is accosting your son or daughter or my son or daughter, my wife, your husband, my mother, your parents, it doesn't matter whether or not they were deprived as a youth. It doesn't matter or not whether or not they had no background that enabled them to become socialized into the fabric of society. It doesn't matter whether or not they're the victims of society. The end result is they're about to knock my mother on the head with a lead pipe, shoot my sister, beat up my wife, take on my sons. So I don't want to ask what made them do this. They must be taken off the street. That's number one. There's a consensus on that.
That's good enough. He's talking about black children, and he says it doesn't matter. Are you listening, America in general? This is the unifier. This is when he still had most of his hair and color in it, and all that. Joe Biden, the unifier, is telling you that it doesn't matter what caused your children you know, to be what he later calls thugs and all that kind of stuff. It does not matter. It doesn't matter if they come from broken homes. It doesn't matter if the economy is shot to heck there. It doesn't matter, as Buttigieg said, if roads were built to make up for, you know, racists. It doesn't matter if the trees are racist like Kamala Harris talks about. None of that matters. The only thing that matters is locking your children up and getting them off the street. That's all that matters. This is the guy that South Carolinians under Clyburn put in the White House. This is the dude. And it infuriates me. Yes, I'm pro-Trump. Yes, I think he should have won. Yes, I hope he comes back, all that. But beyond that, the dude in the White House is a hater. He's always been a hater, and I'm just going to say it, he's a racist. This dude, and I don't have the video pulled up to play it. Keep in mind, Joe Biden, the unifier, gave the eulogy at a Imperial Wizard of the Ku Klux Klan funeral, where he called him a friend, a mentor, and a guide, talking about the late, great Robert Byrd of West Virginia. This guy, Biden, you don't have to be for Trump, but if you really know Biden, and I think we're beginning to see more and more of him, I feel sorry for Biden in this sense that I respect elderly people. I don't want to see anybody go down that road. But Joe Biden should never have been in the White House. He should, and I'm not even talking about election this or that. I'm saying it is a disaster. It's always been a disaster, and it's only going to get worse. Tell me where I'm wrong. All right, I need to calm down. I want to get into this next one. It's kind of funny, kind of humorous, but kind of sad at the same time. But before I get into that, I do have some great news for you. Look above the video, no matter when or where you're watching it. Click on the link, johnmartinhealth.com. That's johnmartinhealth.com. Follow the directions, and I have a free gift for you, my listening audience. I want to give you something. And so click on that link, johnmartinhealth.com. Follow the directions. You'll get a bottle of zinc and a bottle of vitamin D3, $50 value, absolutely free, because one of the things we learned in the pandemic, however you label it, is we all need to be healthier, and it starts with good nutrition and good supplements. johnmartinhealth.com. Please accept this gift from me. All right, let's get into the next story here. This comes to you via Breitbart. Like I say, it's kind of humorous, it's kind of sad, and a bit troubling all at the same time. Representative Gloria Johnson, let's go Brandon, be equated with burning the flag. Burning the flag. So if you hold up a sign or a hat or t-shirt or chant, let's go Brandon, it's the same as burning a flag. I don't think too many people believe that, but maybe they do. A Tennessee Democrat told Twitter followers Monday that chanting "Let's go Brandon" can be equated to burning the flag. Well, some people out there still may not understand what "Let's go Brandon" means. So I'm going to play you the original "Let's go Brandon" chant. This is at a NASCAR race. I believe it was in Talladega, when a young guy named Brandon actually won the race. I think it was his first NASCAR race. Unfortunately, he's been tagged with this, not his fault, but the crowd is chanting something besides "Let's go Brandon," and this MSNBC or NBC reporter, I got to give her credit. She's one of the most creative people ever. But check it out. We'll come back and talk about it.
Oh my God, it's just such an unbelievable moment.
Brandon, you also told me, as you can hear the chants from the crowd, "Let's go Brandon." Brandon, you told me you were going to kind of hang back those first two stages and just watch and learn. What did you learn that helped you there?
So you can hear, and I feel sorry for the dude, man, in one sense, because it took away from his moment. But the crowd is clearly chanting something besides "Let's go Brandon." And the NBC reporter literally says, you can hear them cheering for you, Brandon. They're cheering "Let's go Brandon." What a creative gal she is, man. But so ever since then, the "Let's go Brandon" chant has been basically akin to the F Joe Biden deal. And that's what this state house member, I think, in Tennessee is talking about. Let me get my thing. All right, here we go. Replying to another user who referenced the Let's Go Brandon chant, Tennessee State Representative Gloria Johnson of Knoxville, Democrat, felt the need to smear chanters as anti-American in a tweet saying, as a friend said, I think it should be equated with burning the flag. In essence, that's what they are doing. So ridiculing Joe Biden is the equivalent of burning the flag. I wonder if she ever speak up when they were doing all of this crazy stuff to President Trump. I mean, all of this, I mean, just absolute insanity outside the White House, literally burning flags. Did she ever speak up? Now, the only way I think a person can truly, because I don't know if she actually believes this or not, but the only way I guess that I see it, Billy Bob kind of tells me this, and I agree with it, that I can see that she might have a justification to equivocate Let's Go Brandon with burning the flag, is if she believes what Biden said when he said this.
Opens with the words as trite as it sounds, we the people. Well, it's time to remember that we the people are the government. You and I.
There you go. To me, I tell you right now, that is one of the scariest things that I have ever heard the president say, that we the people, in the Constitution, what it really means is the government. No, it's just the opposite of that, by the way. We, the people, is you and me, the people of the United States of America, the rugged individualists that give permission, and the Democrat progressives either have forgotten this or don't care about this. We give permission to be governed. The Constitution is not written to empower government. It is absolutely the polar opposite of that. It is written to protect the individuals from the overreach of a federal government. And so when Biden looks there, and he said it more than once now, he was given a kind of a State of the Union address, when he says that we the people is him and Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer and all that, that is terrifying. So yes, I can see how this House of Representative in Tennessee, Gloria Johnson, how she might believe that it is akin, that Let's Go Brandon is akin to burning the flag, if she believes that Joe Biden is the emperor, God Almighty, that all rights are bestowed from, man. To me, that's the only thing. And keep this in mind, if you believe that what Biden just said, then the flag itself means nothing. It's all over. It's all over. And kidding aside, it's basically down to freedom versus tyranny. That's where we are in this nation. And yes, it's comical and joking around, or Let's Go Brandon, but at the end of the day, we are in the middle of freedom versus tyranny. Tennessee State Representative Gloria Johnson, I got to tell you, people like her, I don't know her, want to give her maybe the benefit of the doubt, but she is I battle ignorance and apathy on a daily basis, because so many people are ignorant about our founding and what it truly means. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed the show as much as I've enjoyed bringing it to you. Please go to all our social media sites, like them, share them with others. Check out the gifts that I have for you, johnmartinhealth.com. Remember Big Daddy Unlimited, tremendous savings. Look above the video for those links, no matter when or where you're watching it. I'll pray for your family. You pray for mine. Let's all pray for this great nation. She needs it and deserves it more than ever. But above all else, like I say each and every day, from my heart, from my family to yours, have a blessed day.